Hello everyone, welcome to the first day of the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to pull this off, but we're doing it. So effectively, if you're new and you don't know how this works, we basically just go through every day with a new figure and we review it, randomly selected with this wheel. Effectively, any figures that were featured previous years are not included, and any figures I got during the month of December are also not included, but are going to be applied here. So all these figures either are new or haven't been featured in the Advent calendar yet. So for this, we're going to be doing one figure at a time. So let's go ahead and just do this pretty basically. Looks like we're getting a NECA. The NECA 2014 reissue. I like that. Let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome to the first day of the Godzilla 2025 Advent calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we are doing the MechaGodzilla 2014 reissue from NECA. So, for a little bit of context as to why I sound like this, again, if you haven't been keeping up with my community tabs, essentially I currently have the flu, and it's a pretty nasty case of it. I have not felt this bad in a while. Now, the person might go and ask, why don't you take a break from YouTube? Of which I am going to. But I still wanted to make this video because I did promise that I would do this, and I do not want to delay on the first day. Damn it. Well, there goes my DVD for Shin Godzilla. Anyway, that's actually Blu-ray. Anywho. So, also a little nick I got from my cat earlier because he decided to be an idiot and chew on plastic. Don't worry, we got it all away from him and it's nowhere to be found. Anyway, throw it out. So with that said, first things first is to address the flu thing. If I'm not feeling better any better by tomorrow, I am going to be taking a bit of a pause from the Advent calendar as well as videos for a little bit, just to kind of recover myself. And yeah, anyways, you're not here to hear me talk about the flu. You're here for me to talk about Godzilla, of which that's what we're going to be doing here. So this figure is a reissue of the NECA Godzilla 2014, which has been long-standing as one of my personal favorites in the whole collection. And as a result, this is going to be, I believe, one of the poster box variants. It's hard to really decipher because all the reissues are so similar yet so different. I only have two of them, this one and the other one, which I've had since, I want to say like 2015, 2016. Yeah, it's been a long time. So effectively, this figure is going to be having that exact sculpt, pretty much the movie accurate sculpt that NECA used all those years ago, brought back in its 2019, 2020 from what I estimate, detail, all the high quality plastic that's used, different paint applications like the blue wash over top that's a bit more uniform looking, the more sandy kind of rough textures here for the neck, the stomach. Just to kind of give you guys a brief overview here. So you can see, I'll let the detail itself do most of the talking since I can't really talk much. Really nice mouth paint here too. So that's fun. For the claws, which are actually decently pointy, not too sharp, but they're very well done. and very nicely glossy. Just the right balance for what was NECA's first Godzilla, even though this was a later reissue. For all like the segments on the legs, they look pretty nice. Bottom of the feet with some peg holes with some non-included stands. And just more of like that brown wash, which I really wish they kept out the whole bottom, but it's alright. And for articulation, we have a ball joint here at the head, hinged jaw, ball joint here at the neck, ball joints here for the shoulders, sole hinges for the elbows, ball joints here for the wrists, ball joint here for the ab crunch here with a rotation, ball joints here for the hips, bend at the knee, with a swivel at the knee, ball joint here at the feet, a couple ball joints here, 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 and here. So you get a fair amount of segmentation there. And from here to roughly about here is a pure bendy wire, and then this is just pure rubber. So on the aftermarket, this guy sells for about $50 to $70 from what I've been seeing. I mean, that's how much I paid for my Tokyo SOS Hybrid Maser Blast variant of Godzilla, and that is about how much I paid for my 84, which is still up and coming. So anyways, if I do recommend this, yes, I do. But this is my personal little gift to you, a little short form review. Once I am in a better kind of like state to talk for prolonged periods of time, then I will be starting to do longer videos for the advent calendar, because that was one of my goals for this one, to make it a bit longer. But sadly, this one was not one of them. I mean, this was about, what, 7 minutes total, what I'm guessing, post-editing. So again, I thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. And remember, happy holidays. Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and I am doing a little bit better, but not too by much. I'm still very much under the side effects of my flu, but we're going to be doing this anyway. So, yesterday we did day 1, as per usual, so let's go ahead and see what day 2 brings us. Ooh, the Godzilla Evolved keychain, nice. Let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matt, pretty sure you already know the rest. So for day 2, we're going to be taking a look at this, which is the Metalfigs Godzilla. I was about to say MechaGodzilla. They did actually release a new wave of these I'm hunting for, with the classic Godzilla stuff with Godzilla, and then there's Ghidorah, MechaGodzilla, and Rodan. So no love for Mothra. It's ironic that they could have done Mothra in this movie and the classics, yet she's in neither of them. So hey, who's to say that'll never happen? Anyway, so this guy is obviously still in the box, but I put him back just because I do prefer keeping them in the box, but I like you a lot, so I'm going to do this for you. Without tearing this box open. Just because, like, I do, like, prefer keeping this, because if I have it laying out exposed to the elements, then they kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's more prone to like mold degrading and such. Well, that's happened. I didn't even have that much force, and the damn thing went flying. I hate it when, like, they package figures like that so tightly. Like, they're just asking for us to break in, buy a new one. Thank God this thing has soft parts. Anyway, so this is a stylistic version of Godzilla Evolved, which was in the New Empire, if you're somehow not familiar with it. And this was bought by my mother while she was on a road trip, so thank you so much, Mom. Anyway, so for the head, it's actually very well nicely done. We have a bit of like an orange, a kind of like olive green for the eye with a black pupil. And this whole like face section's kind of made like a rubberized material. Here we have the teeth paint. I don't agree with the fact that it's painted on the membranes and the tongue, but the teeth are actually really well done, for what they are at least. But mine's got a bit of a QC issue where they didn't properly apply it. And it looks like he has like an inner jaw. So it almost looks like the alien, like, you know what I'm talking about, the second jaw inside the alien's mouth. Ironically enough, I was actually looking on the internet one day, and there is a Mexican bootleg of like a xenomorph Godzilla. I want to get that one day. Anyway, so for this whole like soft top section, made of a soft plastic, you have a lot of the nice like detail work and the metallic paint here. Of course, you have like the little keychain itself. Not too much to really comment on. It's a keychain with the ring slide in like the disc. The dorsal plates here are very pointy. Well, not very pointy. They're very shiny too. And I do like the way they are painted with the way they look. I would almost have preferred the whole, like, they went the whole 9 yards and painted all of them, as opposed to just, like, the tips, because there are some that are not painted. It is kind of a distraction, but that is okay, I suppose. Here for the side of the body, you actually get glittery plastic infused with it, which, and everyone who's watched my videos knows how much of a sucker for glittery plastic in my figures. It automatically makes me love it 10 times more, and this is no exception. The detail work here for the chest looks really nice. Also, don't worry about my voice. I have some tea right next to me, and I have another thing of tea after I didn't realize my sister got me tea, so now I got 2 teas. The arms are made of like a soft plastic, and you have some like the elbow spikes here making a return. Ironically enough, there are 3 prongs as opposed to just 2. Interesting. He's also got like a bit of like a sideways pose. So he's kind of like looking at you like this with his body turned. So he's got like a bit of an attitude. The feet here are actually done very nicely. The glittery plastic is on full display, even though this is actually more just like the die cast. It's interesting to have a die cast Godzilla though. The claws here, mine's got a scuff there that is not from the fall. I don't think that there's any fall damage to this guy, because this was on it when it came out of the box when I first initially got it. Then you have some like copyright info there and there, and then you got like the tail itself, which the whole tail is pretty simplistic, but I do like the colorization on it. And you get the Thagomizer here at the end. So overall, like in terms of weight, it's a very hefty one. So it's got a bit of weight. But I don't imagine this thing breaking off anytime soon, unless you're being an absolute douche with this thing, flailing this in the air like you just don't care. And then you're going to have to go out and buy a new one, which I don't know how often Jada Toys reprints these, because I'm still hunting for them. My section of my Walmart does have them, but they don't have the Godzilla ones right now. So they have like a boatload of different ones like Harry Potter, SpongeBob, Lilo and Stitch, but not Godzilla. But it's a new wave, so hopefully they'll get them soon. Anyways, so that's going to be it for the Godzilla keychain. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for day 3 tomorrow, which is going to be another fun one. And again, see you guys next time. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully, if you're having the cold like I am, you're just, but again, just managing well and stay hydrated. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and today is day 3. So last day we did the Jada Toys Godzilla Evolved keychain. So let's go ahead and spin this wheel and see which one we get for day 3. Looks like it's a MonsterArts, but which one? The MechaGodzilla Final Battle variant. Alright, this would be a pretty decent one to do. Let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matt, and today we're taking a look at the MonsterArts MechaGodzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong, the Final Battle variant. So this guy is just a little bit of a backstory. This is actually my newest figure in the collection. So it's not been that long since I last talked about this thing, and I'm not just going to say the figure exists and then just send you a link to that other video. I'm gonna talk about it, but I'm not going to go in terms of like the actual inner details and like super all like different specs of this thing. So I'm gonna be a bit more overviewing with this thing, a bit more abridged, if you will. And because I do want to at least give people who only watch the Advent calendars, all 3 of you, the opportunity to see this figure right in front of your faces. So with that said, for the actual figure, based on an earlier model of the MechaGodzilla design from the film, because this is a repaint of it, like a concept version of MechaGodzilla that was not finalized to my understanding, this guy is actually decently accurate to the film. The dorsal plates are actually a bit bigger than they should be realistically, but like aside from that, I can't really point out like anything intensively like inaccurate with this thing. Everything seems to be on point as far as the details concerned. Maybe some parts are like smoothened out more than others, but being a mechanicalized Titan, you kind of get that anyway. For things like the tail, they're pretty decently long. They're proportionally what they should be. Although mine's very floppy for obvious reasons. This thing was used, but is very good in condition. Putting the mouth open here. So here we have the cannon, the little mouth little details here. Those are like the indestructible metal grinders that are actually like in real life. You've seen YouTube shorts of people like throwing these things in like industrial grinders. These are what those are, but for kaiju. So Godzilla was gonna have it himself. Not so much of a good day if MechaGodzilla ever bit him. Not that we saw a lot of the fight anyway. But as far as the accessories is concerned, which also is actually just to talk about the articulation. Again, hinge jaw, series of ball joints here at the head and neck. Shoulder ball joints here. Swivel hinge, swivel hinge, swivel hinge here, swivel hinge there with a ball joint here for the wrists. Nothing for the waist. Pistons here when you move the leg. When you actually swivel and can kick upward and backward with the leg too. Swivel hinge here for the knee. It's a little stiff, but you can get it done. Ball joint here for the foot. There's a little bit of side to side, and the flaps here do move. And a series of ball joints here for the tail. So for the accessories, again, we're not going to go like in depth with them because I have talked about them before. And to be honest, I relatively do not want to like take the time to like put them on, put them back off, put this on, put that on. It's a little bit of a hassle. So you get alternate hands, which are like grabby hands. They can like alternate between them. And keeping everything in tray here because I'm not pulling them out. A little dusty because of really should be oh no, this is where I keep them. So we have the energy blast, kind of like energy boxing gloves that Godzilla uses. And then we have a series of stands here, and for the beam, a series of like rocky propulsions, and a alternate tail drill that MechaGodzilla used in the film. Actually not like using it to his full potential, but you get it. So overall, do I like this thing still? Personally, yes. The problem with having so much cats is that the fur builds up with dust and gets all over your stuff. Like, damn it, I'm gonna have to clean this guy up after this, aren't I? The good news is that this figure is like some parts of it are made of die cast, like the feet and select parts of the legs, like the kneecaps. Trying to use the cool touch technique. Trying to see the dorsal plates, not really. Some parts are. Anyway, I think it's a pretty well done figure. I did recommend it, and I still recommend him now. It is the Christmas season, so you can find yourself maybe a deal or get this for a loved one. Maybe Amazon has some, I don't know, I haven't seen. But that's all from me. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for day 4, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and this is day 4. Minus this laggy wheel. There is a lot of pie charts on this thing anyway. So yesterday was day 3 and we did the MonsterArts MechaGodzilla Final Battle variants. Which for today we're gonna spin the wheel and see which one we get. Looks like we're getting a Playmates. The Playmates Kong with Battle Axe from GXK. Not a bad one. Alright, let's take a look. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today is episode 4 of the 5th annual Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. This episode, we're taking a look at the Playmates Godzilla Kong, the New Empire Battle Axe Kong from Playmates Toys, which, for a little bit of context, is a different release to the previous films Battle Axe Kong, which for some reason Playmates still insists on releasing in the newer box packaging, which, like, I don't know why they keep that mold floating around when they have a much better one. I don't know. Playmates just, their figures seem to question me more than actually satisfy me half of the times. But enough indulging. This is from the New Empire. So with that being said, let's take a look at this guy. So for the actual mold, it's based on the New Empire design, which is going to be a bit more updated from the Godzilla vs. Kong design, which is a little bit more defined, if you can actually believe the New Empire has better CG, so to speak, than Godzilla vs. Kong does, because in my personal opinion, the New Empire, it does not. But that's more of a critique of the movies and not the actual figures. The face sculpt, however, is a lot better done, because on the last one, it was a lot more simplistic and goofy looking. This actually looks like it has a lot more detail with it, and actually has like a correct color scheme, like dark brown to light gray ratio, instead of a more lighter gray to more putrid black that looks more like tar on his face than actual skin tone. For the mouth here, we have a bit of like a snaggletooth going on, and some actually decently done like paint for the eyes, although mine are a bit spread apart, unfortunately, so that is a kind of minor dud. But the nose is done really well. pecs are pretty well done with some very nice, that's my cat's fighting in the background anyway, scars for the chest here. A little bit of overspray here, kind of looks like he's wearing a vest. Kind of a similar problem, ironically, to the Hi-Toys G21 Heat Ray version. But you do get a little bit like mold line here from what I have seen. But you do get a fair amount of like detail work here. They actually added like these scars to make it a little bit more defined right here, and then select parts of the body like right here. And then trying to find, there was another part of the body that had it. Anyway, we'll come across it eventually. But yeah, for the back here, they actually do have a lot of the nice detail here, of which it does look really sweet. I'll give it that. So it actually has a lot of nice detail work. You might see a speck of blue, and I have to assume that's from the included battle axe, which is just to do a brief comparison of the blues here. I just realized how, like, there's like a friggin', is that a fingerprint? I don't know. I don't really see this thing under intensive lighting, because it is kind of more towards the back of my shelf. But just to show, this is a remold of the GVK battle axe with some upgraded paint for the actual axe blade. I wish they would color this to more maybe like a green or like a blackish color, because there was different colors used in the films. But this blue is actually also carried from the, the Energized Godzilla, which ironically enough, I think that works better for this thing than it does for that. I'm not saying that because that figure is a steaming pile of hot crap. I mean, I'm literally just saying that. But it is a flexible rubber, and it goes in either hand, but it's supposed to go in this one because Kong is supposed to be right-handed. Crap. And you do get a bit of a better grip this time around, which kind of brings us to the articulation, which we have for the head. You can go a full 360 with it. Swivel hinges for the shoulders, as well as, well, swivels. Swivel hinges for the elbows here. Swivels for the wrists. Nothing here at the waist, even though there is an obvious seam line that is just glue. Swivel hinges for the hips, so you can swivel a little bunch, go back and forth. And a hinge for the knees. So, overall, so to speak, I definitely think that this is an upgrade from the original. Nothing too, like, overly fantastic, especially since we have things like the MonsterArts and the Hi-Toys variants out. This is a fine, like, toy if you want to get for your kids, because, to my knowledge, stockage is a little dwindling, especially around this time of year where Playmates is. There's no, like, big MonsterVerse tentpole that was released this year. The closest thing that ironically was released, it was the Shin Godzilla 4K re-release. And when someone looks at that, they're not going to go, huh, Shin Godzilla in theaters. I'm going to go buy my kid a King Kong figure. Like, no, that's not typically how it works. But anyways, just kind of like say my 2 cents. This figure is pretty good. I definitely have fallen out of love with it a little bit, just because, like, I was impressed with the sculpt at the time, but obviously I've got my eyes more set on some other bigger figures with, like, higher quality. And who knows, maybe within the next year I might end up selling off my Playmate stuff, because admittedly I am kind of losing interest in Playmates, but I'll still stick around. I do want to get that Frostvark though, because it's either that or nothing when it comes to a Monarch figure. And Monarch Season 2's coming out with this big screen time leech, thanks to Godzilla. Kind of like overshadowing. That's a joke, by the way. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Anyways, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for day 5 of the Advent calendar, whenever that might be, tomorrow. And I'm currently still recovering from the flu. Still got a bit of a sore throat, as you can probably tell, but we're still getting to it. It's a slow recovery process day by day. Stay hydrated. To those who are sick, drink apple juice. Trust me, it'll do wonders for the throat, and you'll thank me later. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for day 5. Peace out, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and this is for day 5 of 2025. Right now, actually, the FNAF movie 2 is out, so go see that if you haven't. Anyways, on an unrelated note, even though that's the note you came on, let's go ahead and spin the wheel, see which figure we get. Guess I forgot to turn the volume on this time. Looks like it's another Playmates. And we got One Eye. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew. Yours truly is still under the weather, but doing much better as we speak. Anyway, for today's episode is going to be day 5, which is going to be the One Eye with Bone Truncheon from Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, specifically of the Playmates toys variety. I mean, it's not like any other company has made One Eye. Looking at you, MonsterArts. Looking at you, Hiya. Looking at you, X Plus. X Plus would never even touch this guy. Anyway, so this is our 5th MonsterVerse figure in a row. So come on, wheel. Let's pick some more Toho stuff. It's not up to me. I don't rig the thing. I put it on there. I own it, and it's not been reviewed before. Anyway, so for this figure, it is going to be from the last wave of the New Empire products before they switched over to the MonsterVerse. And let's just take a look at it. So let's actually kind of like angle the camera up, just because I don't want to like constantly put this guy on the side just for you to see him. So for the, well, call me a hypocrite, I guess. So for the head, being called One Eye, he actually is blinded in one eye. He didn't lose an eye, but he lost vision in that eye. So it's more like a Holes type nickname, if you know the book, the movie of sorts. Anyway, so for the scars here, they're kind of like more blood red compared to the, like something like Kong, which is interesting. Maybe it's just he highlighted those scars, you know? So here we have a little bit of scuffing on my nose, but that's okay. Actually, maybe that's supposed to be like that. Interesting. But the eye is actually really well painted, having like detailed eyeball itself. Decently detailed nostrils. A little like fade of color where his mustache should be. It kind of looks like a certain figure from history that I shall not name, but does come across as a dictator. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. For the actual mouth here, it's a bit of like a snarl here, bit of actually nice detail here going on with the face. The actual like fur here is actually really well detailed. And we have a nice little like white spray, which is meant to be like his bald head. Here we have like 2 details of his receding hairline. Like, come on, dude, shave that hair off. I mean, if you're able to make something like this, surely you can find something sharp enough to shave that off. Anyway, enough shaming a character over something you can't control. Ears are there. For the torso, the skin is a little bit more smoothed over, but we do have more like that tribal, cultural painting on his stomach. But of course we have like more like the thinning hair on his side. And then it's interesting because like a majority of the hair here is more painted white than natural brown. I say that as we turn to the back, where a large majority of it is not painted, which I kind of wish Playmates would start doing on their figures. Although we have it here and here pretty well painted like skin patches, and as well as like his buttocks right there, so that's interesting. As well as more skin patches here that are not painted. But we have a singular line here of the paint that is all entirely white. And of course here we have the infamous bone club, which is just a large femur, which really does beg you the question, even though the MonsterVerse films pretty much gave the middle finger to Logic long ago. Where did this bone come from? Because no other Titan, well, maybe that giant bone bridge Titan, maybe something like that, maybe a little smaller, a little bit, as in like miles shorter. Anyways, little look here, more red here, and then here we have like pre-posed legs, which are out to the side. Here we have like fades of white here and here, and a little bit more white, more towards the feet. And just to show you the bottom and the back. So all that's pretty fine and dandy. For articulation, we have a, not a ball joint. Actually, wait. Yes, a ball joint. So for basic movement, we can go pretty much like swivel like that. And much like the 2017 classic Kong from Godzilla and Kong, the classic Titan stuff that Playmates used to do, you can actually kind of get some like side to side, but you can also get some more movement. So yeah, it is on a ball peg. Swivel hinges for the shoulders, so you can go pretty much full 360 with that. Swivel hinge for the elbows. Swivels for the wrists. Ball joint here for the ab crunch. You go back, forth, squeak. Swivel hinge for the legs here, side to side, and a swivel hinge for the knees. Nothing for the foot itself. Anyways, again, for being much more of a basic figure, it has its fair share of problems, but it also has its fair share of things like really good sculpt and surprisingly nice paint applications. Articulation serviceable, and I do like the accessory it comes with. Anyways, that's all I have for day 5. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. Stay tuned for day 6. I want something Toho. I don't control it, but please pick something Toho. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and this is day 6. Last day we did the Playmates One Eye from Godzilla Kong the New Empire. So hopefully this time, unlike the previous 5 days, we'll be getting something Toho, not just Monsterverse. So let's spin the wheel and see which one we get. Well, it looks like it's something Toho. The Bandai Movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla Bootleg. Yes, let's do it. Finally, something from the big T.O.T.O. Let's do it. T.O.T.O. T.O.H.O. I mean, I don't know where I'm pulling the E from, but alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're taking a look for day 6, the Bootleg Movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla. Now, this isn't the definitive Bootleg Shin Godzilla. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if anyone has been in the world of bootlegs for the better part of the last few years, you know that bootlegs are something that run rampant, and it always have been since, I guess, pop culture's conception. Essentially, bootlegs are a cheap alternative to what is effectively the real thing in countries that may not get the actual figures because they're only so mass-produced. Even Playmates isn't really that produced in, from what I know, in a country like Mexico, for example. So they have their own set of bootlegs, but that's like a whole other different ball game. This is a bootleg of Shin Godzilla, one of the most popular versions of Godzilla, but let's go ahead and take a look at this dude. So being a remold of the movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla that came out in 2016, a lot of fuzz on this thing because I do have cats, and the place of the shelf is right next to a vent, so it is a very much attractant towards dust and lint, so do be careful of that. For the face here, it's actually very mushy, but still very accurate. Let's actually raise the camera up here. There you go. It's actually very mushy, very accurate to the source material. For anyone, my nails yellow, I just ate an orange, so that's something. For the eyes, they actually do have a bit of a sculpt work for a pupil, but even the original wasn't painted, and this one certainly wasn't. The teeth paint is a little iffy, because it's clear that there's different variations of paint, not color-wise, but technique-wise here used. And they don't even paint the mouth all the way. You can still kind of see some, right there, some teeth that are not painted. Here for the skin kind of glowing area, because Shin Godzilla does glow a very bloody red. Especially for the back, but it's all painted one color. it's actually very goopy and looks very glowy, which is almost like an opposite problem to the original. The original didn't have a lot of it. This one actually has too much of it, which is funny because it's still condensed to the chest. So make of that what you will. So for the arms here, very small, very slender-like, very mutant-esque. Of course, we have the various folds in the skin. Those look nice. Little sprays there and there. More so on one side than the other. But of course, the detail here surprisingly shows up well. The 6 on the 2016 and the 2 there on the 23360202. And then the copyright trademark Toho. Those look a little faded. But anyways, for the back here, again, more of the dust. And of course for the tail, various segments and folds in the skin. And of course you get the half-painted tail tip, which in the original figure it was fully painted. Here it's only half. And you can also kind of see some like access vinyl or plastic, whatever material this thing is made of. But anyways, for articulation, we have nothing at the head, jaw, but we do have a swivel here at the shoulder, so that looks nice. Same thing here for the other shoulder. We have a swivel here for the hips. Can go more or less 360, but the arms do get in the way of that, depending on how you have them posed. Same with this. So you can get like a little V cut here at the crotch. For the base of the tail, something that wasn't on the original is you can get a full 360. And here you can also get a full 360. So that's going to have to about do it for the bootleg movie monster series Shin Godzilla. I do hope you guys enjoyed. There's really not a whole lot to this figure that hasn't been said already, because I've covered this thing like who knows how many freaking times over the years. And this was just the latest one. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time for day 7. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 7. Now, I had accidentally spun the wheel after I left my computer idle, but that one didn't count. If you're wondering, I landed on the Scar King from Final Battle, Playmates, whatever. But here we have the actual one, which I remember to turn on the volume this time, just for a dramatic effect. Alright, we're getting another Playmates, the 2014 with Tank. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and we're back with day 7. Today we have the Playmates City Destruction Godzilla 2014 with Tank. I know, very thrilling name, but that's literally the name of the figure, and that's what we're calling it. Anyway, for those that are unaware, this was part of Playmates' 2022-2023 MonsterVerse brand revival type thing, where they transitioned from Versus Kong to the MonsterVerse collective, basically. And they started doing films from the previous iterations of the MonsterVerse, and 2014 was one of them, and this is our 2014 rep. Anyways, without further ado, this is going to be just a basic overview, because we've taken a look at this guy many times. This is just the latest one. Anyway, so for the and Tank part of the name, this is actually a very, actually a fairly basic tank, all things considered. Something to actually point out with the tank in particular is that, although it's very basic, having a more of like a beige slash, also you're gonna have to forgive like all the fuzz I have, because again, this thing is right next to a vent shaft, and well, I have cats, so anyway, so for the tank itself, it's like a little beige color, but it's also made of like a little rubber. Trying to like get rid of all the things as I go here. It's not exactly easy, but For what it's worth, it is actually very nicely detailed because we do have a lot of like nice panel lining and the treads here, as well as the big kind of like top on the tank here. I don't know the name. I don't know my military weapons all that well. But that said, we actually do have a rotation here. Nice. Look at that. And but do keep in mind that this is a little bit more flexible because of how skinny it is, so you could shear that off if you pull it too far. Anyways, that's enough for the tank. Let's get on to the main event, Big Godzilla himself, which you might be wondering why he's all orange. It's basically because the 2014 marketing and a lot of the lighting in Godzilla 2014 was like shrouded in darkness. It was very gritty. It wasn't much color outside of the occasional, like, maybe explosion, flame, spark, fire, whatever. Anything that illuminates anything, sort of heat. In fact, I'd say there's more color in Godzilla 2014's Atomic Breath than there is in the rest of the whole film. That said, it's trying to take attack at like that orange vibe that the film goes for, which I would say does it very well. The overall sculpt is actually a decent stylized representation of what you get with the film. The face looks a little iffy, with the eyes being very big and the jaw being very like not one to one, but like a little more on the cartoony side. Teeth are basic strips. Of course, here we have like first usage of the orange here and here, as well as here. Little dabbles of it right here towards the shoulders and the neck. And then all the way across the dorsal plates, which are going to be made of like this rubbery flexible material. Actually does have some very nice sculpt work. And I do like the shading of the gradient here. Like, if there's one thing that Playmates rocks at, it's undeniably the gradients. Something of note as well is just the proportions on this guy look a little off, because the 2014 Godzilla didn't really have this big of arms, and he especially didn't have these chunky legs, so at least they got the beat right. Also, the tail here swooped right up and almost looks like a flute or some sort of like instrument. Probably not a flute. I don't know. I'm kind of drowsy anyway. And also, the figure does come with a bit of battle damage, which you can peel off the skin right there. It reveals his big blood meat sack. And of course, this does come packaged separately. And you just purely wedge it in there. Really not much else to say about that. But in addition to that, you also get your fair share of articulation, which you have a jaw hinge. Swivel at the head. Also, I would like to point out that the jaw length is kind of damned because of the way it's cut. They kind of like sculpted it like this and then made the articulation cut, and now it looks like that. So do with that what you will. Shoulders can go up and down, just like that. Legs can go forward and back, and can go 360 here for the foot. Same with here. And a ball joint here at the base of the tail, where there's nothing else aside from flexible rubber. Anyways, that's going to about do it for the Godzilla 2014 with tank. I definitely think that there could have been some improvements with this figure, but overall, it's a very solid representation of what a modern Take 2014 would be like in kids' toy form. But that said, do so if you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys for day 8. Peace out, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew. And today we're doing day 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. 8 fingers anyway. So for this, we're going to be spinning the wheel and see which one we get this time. Hopefully it's another Toho. Oh, it's another MonsterArts. Which one? The MonsterArts 2001 Godzilla. That's an interesting pick. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and for day 8, we are doing the movie Monster series, MonsterArts, Godzilla 2001 from Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, or just often abbreviated to GMK. So for this figure, this was my first ever MonsterArts figure, and I'm baffled that it took 5 Advent calendars for him to finally show up. Of which, let's go ahead and talk about this guy in great detail. So for the actual sculpt, this is Yuji Sakai's mold of the big lizard, of course. For the eyes, instead of being like a pure like white, they're actually like whitened pupils with gray eyeballs. That's interesting. That's an interesting approach. For the teeth, they're individually sculpted with so-so paint applications because they are kind of like dirty a little bit. But for the mouth detail as well, we have like all the reds, kind of like an orange ravaging through. And of course for the tongue, mine's a little scuffed, but that's only because of how old of a figure this is. And the detail still holds up really well and really nicely, which is something I do appreciate. Showing off a bit more of the detail here for the sides, we actually have a lot of the nice kind of like details and ridges here, just looking very nice. Mine's got a bit of like miscolorization because, well, like for example, this black thing, I'm pretty sure that's just from the base figure, but you have like some extra gunk that like old me has just accumulated thanks to how long I've had this thing for. But you do get some like sprays of white here at the chest, for the claws as well. Those looking nice. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without talking about the dorsal plates, which are individually sculpted and very accurate to the film. Although they are a little too dark for my liking. I feel like if they were a bit more lighter, like the NECA version, I feel like that'd be a bit better. For the legs here, big, meaty, chunky legs. All the individual crevices and details. And of course, here we have the big foot, toes here. Claws, nice shading of which they look nice and beefy. And of course, here we have this more, I guess, average length tail. Like, it's not one of those stupidly long tails. It's actually very slender in comparison to other Godzillas in the line. But I guess probably because like of how big and bulky of a Godzilla is, it definitely looks a little mismatched compared to the rest. But you do get like the spray that goes from the top of it. If you're wondering why this one is like all glossy, it's actually because it's glued in. Years ago, many moons ago, I broke that, so yay. But yeah, aside from that, there's really not much else to comment on. For the articulation, the head can go up and go down, go a full 360. Another segment here midway at the neck. And of course here at the base of the neck, go down, up, go side, side, and all that. Here we have a jaw ball joint here. That looks nice. Here we have for the tongue a ball joint that like swivels. Here for the shoulders, ball joints here, so you can go up and down, and kind of like out to the side. Bicep ball joint here. It is a ball joint, but it's very limited. Swivel, sorry, I guess it's a swivel hinge. Double hinged elbows, because you can also rotate them a little bit. Ball joints here for the wrists. Mine love to pop off, specifically this one, because like I'll literally just swivel it. Okay, it's making me turn out to be. Was it this one? No, I think it had to have been this one. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, so apparently it's strengthened up over the years. Interesting. For the torso here, as you can see, ball joint. Yay. As well as another ball joint down here with the mild rotation. Come on, get this thing back up. Thank you. We have ball joints here for the hips. Very squeaky. swivel hinges for the knees, calf joint right here, and then a ball joint here for the foot. Series of ball joints starting from the tail onward and all the way to the tippy tip right here, which I've lost a few times, but thankfully I was able to find it each and every time. Watch as, like, right after this recording, it pops off and I immediately lose it for good. Oh, that would suck. But anyways, that's going to have to about do it for the 2001 Godzilla from MonsterArts. I do hope you guys enjoyed. There will be more coming pretty soon. Stick around for day 9. I'll see you guys next. Excuse me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today is going to be day 9. So we're going to spin the wheel and see which one we get. And apparently, I forget to turn off the volume this time again, like an idiot. Looks like we're getting another Toho one. Alright, the MMS Bandai Biolante. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome to day 9 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew. I'm laughing because I accidentally bumped the camera before I started shooting. Anyway, so for this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the MMS Bootleg Biolante of Tabi's fame. Yes, this is the villain for season 23 of the MechaGodzilla show, which should be coming back hopefully before the month ends, because there is some things I'd like to work on just to kind of like get back into the swing of things. I mean, 2026 is almost upon us anyway. Anyways, for the actual figure, this is a bootleg of a pre-existing figure, so a lot of the detail here is very well done. But of course, a lot of it is lost in translation when you're like scanning a model and proceeding to actually upload it to, like, I don't know, some sort of software just to reprint it again. Because that is how bootlegs are made, to my knowledge. Anyways, for the top, we actually have like this kind of like light green with these like accents, which look really nice. The face, we have like this bone white for the eyes, the teeth, which are painted, and of course the side tusks here, which you can kind of see what I'm talking about when I say molding, because like there's like little bubbles every so often throughout the figure. Here we have like the big rose sack in the film, which is like a weak spot, if I remember correctly, which is actually painted orange, which actually does look very nice. Going back to the mouth here, all the little teeth, which are painted like a very blood red. Kind of surprised about that. Anyways, going back to the green, here we have like all the way to the back here, and it kind of like fans out to the big vines, the small ones, which for the small ones, they don't really have a whole lot of anything. They're not like super well detailed, but they are very well, at least sculpted in a sense. Of course, you can see all the vines that are like wrapping around. And for the front vines, you can kind of see what I mean more by like bubbles in the sculpt. Not too well. Also, like the vinyl here is like very flaky. So it's obvious that this was a bootleg. But I mean, for a Biolante figure, you certainly could have gotten way worse. Also for the teeth, this basic one note strips. But for the movement as well, also just to showcase for the bottom, BGK China. Apparently that's the company name, quote unquote company. And we also do have like this circular indent, which you can kind of see inside. It's just pure vinyl. Pure like rubber flexible material with a little whitened crease. Anyways, for the articulation, head can go on a full 360. It does kind of like bump up against it because of the way it's cut, so do keep that in mind. We have a 360 here for the vine, and 360 for this vine as well. It's funny, it's because you can kind of get it spread out like this, or you can kind of cross it in. Almost giving Biolante a little sass, you know. But as for that, that's kind of it. It's a very basic Biolante figure. very inexpensive. You can get this on AliExpress for like, what, less than 10 bucks. I think I got mine for 15, but it should be on sale because it is the holiday season. So if you want one, pick one up. I recommend getting the original, but if you absolutely just want to buy a latte figure but don't have the money right now, go with this one. Anyways, that's all for me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar, Day 10. Yes, that's right. We're back. Had to take a little bit of a hiatus, but we're in catch-up mode, so consider this me just making up for lost time. Anyways, without further ado, let's just go right on to it. Had to go celebrate some family festivities, but of course we're on the creative grind here. Looks like we're getting a Funko Pop. God damn it, I want to fish them out again. The Battle Ready Kong from GVK. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and today we're doing day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Day 10, 10, 20, of the Godzilla Advent Calendars. For today's episode, we're going to be doing the Funko Pop movies, number 1020, Godzilla vs. Kong, Battle Ready Kong, which is going to be the standard edition of the Big Ape. Wow, talk about whiplash. Back to the pandemic era, huh? Yeah, when, of course, everyone was wearing masks, everyone was trying to keep out for that certain virus. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say it, COVID. Oh, but you're feeling all nostalgic for something that only happened a few years ago in lockdown. Well, it was sentimental to a lot of us who were having, like, you know, coming of age moments like me. Anyway, so this dude has been out of his box. I haven't taken this guy out of his particular box for a little while, so prepare. His box is a little bit damaged because a little funny piece of trivia. Back when I was actually getting him, I was at my dad's and like left it in the car and well, let's just say it was very snowy out, so I think if memory serves me correctly, I accidentally dropped him, and it like because it was like very wet out there. My boots were not necessarily the most dry, so yeah. So it's a bit water damaged, but the figure itself is actually completely still intact, which is very surprising because you'd think like something like that would actually just go. Well, anyway, here's the actual figure. It is made up a soft vinyl. This thing is well, just for the face, it's got a bit of like a gray color tone with the orange eyes, and then like some scarring here, and then a very wide open mouth, so that looks nice. A very nice dry brush beard, which I have commented that I wish it looked like the whole figure looked like this. I do still stand by that because Kong's beard was never like, in terms of looks, yes, it was defined, but in terms of color, it was pretty much like the same color tone as the rest of his fur. So I don't see why this couldn't have been like, you know, colored, but the rest of the body, sorry, this could be colored, the rest of the body couldn't. But for the vinyl here, it is very well detailed, at least to like a $10 Funko toy, you know. Ears look pretty nice, got some mild scarring on them, more or less furring here. The bottom part, which is going to be where his like big like pose is going to be, one arm's like this to the chest, the other one's kind of like over here. Of course, here we have the scarring, the legs here. Not too much to commentate on here. The Funko copyright info, legendary copyright trademark, copyright Toho, oddly enough, because this isn't exactly Godzilla, which just to bring it over, this is my latest acquisition. No, he will not be a part of the Advent Calendar because he is not eligible. Yeah, if you don't know how the rules go, effectively, if I get a figure during the month of December and I'm already doing an Advent Calendar, that figure in question is not going to be added. So, that. But for articulation, he actually does have a swivel here at the head, so you can go back and forth like that. But relatively speaking, monkey booty and everything, that is kind of it. He is a very simplistic figure.
And yeah, I don't really have much else to say. If you don't own a Funko Pop Kong, because these things are actually relatively cheap on the aftermarket, because like, I don't know, I guess everyone just wanted Godzilla. Not to say Kong was like horrible or anything, hell no. He is also part of the reason why this movie like was so mainstream back in 2021. You should have been there. All the edits on TikTok, all of this stuff, just like the worldwide divide. Like, if there's anything that the world should be divided on, it's like who would win in a fight. And we go see the movie, see who wins. That's the end of it. Anyway, so like I made mention, these advent calendar episodes are going to be coming out a little bit more not sporadically, commonly, just until I can get caught up again. And then guess what? I'm going to be probably going to head out. Come on, get the thing in. There you go. Okay, like I made mention, the advent calendar episodes are going to be coming back pretty much in full swing. So yes, do stick around for day 11, what would have been day 11, I guess, particularly. So episode 11, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 11. So yes, we're catching up a little bit, so without further ado, let's go ahead and spin the wheel, see which one we get. Whoa. The NECA 54, it's about time this guy got into the list. The very first Godzilla figure I've ever gotten. Kind of sad it's not for the 25th, but you know what? That's fine. Let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and for the first time ever, and the only time, the very first Godzilla figure I ever got, the one that started it all, is finally on the Advent Calendar. The 1954 Godzilla from NECA Toys. So, it only took freaking 5 times just to get you, huh? Anyway, so for the actual figure here, for a little bit of context, this, of course, was one of NECA's earlier figures, so it may be a bit up to par. So for the sculpt, it is very movie accurate, having a very nice sculpt overall with a black kind of like base and a blue wash to kind of bring out some of the more finer details, which I think it does so very well. Although do keep in mind that this is an older figure, and being the very first one, I didn't really treat my figures all that great. So it could have a little bit of scuff in regards to the paint, which you can kind of see with the tongue here. And the teeth, which are going to be both painted like a gray. The tongue, more or less like a spray of gray. And of course for the mouth, nothing too special going on there. The eyes, they're painted like a black and white, looking straight ahead. Looks nice. For the spines here, the middle rows are going to be painted, but the outer rows are not, which if that's a good or bad thing, I'll leave that up to you. But of course we do have the ears, and we do have like the extra fold in the skin. We have several dorsal plates, which are painted pretty okayly. This is definitely not the frosted tip one of the 2019-2020 release. But we do have a lot of nice, like the sculpt here is just very movie accurate. Like the shape of the fins. The paint, not so much. Because, like, you can kind of see, like, the black outline here. Like the interiors are definitely like a bit inconsistent. Like this is very well shaped. This bigger one, not so much. And you can kind of see like some black scuff in there. So yeah, that's all my fault. But again, like the overall shape of the fins here are very well done. And it's just something that I really do like. Also, they are made of like a rubbery material, so you don't have to worry about them like breaking off when you move it. Claws are going to be painted like a gray here. Pretty basically, lots of scuffing, but of course we have the big folds in the skin, which almost looks like a suit. More of the scaleless skin and the big meaty thighs. Like those are some big thighs even for Goji. Here we have like the little kneecap, of course, there. So that looks nice. All the blueness right there. The feet are big and bulky with the 4-toed feet, 3 in the front, 1 in the back. Copyright info 2014. Although I don't think this was released until 2015, so that is an interesting copyright. Was it? I could be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Anyways, so yeah, the claws look pretty good, and the red tail, itty bitty. Got the blue wash, of course, surrounding the whole thing. And, of course, we have the the dorsal plate paint all the way to the tip, which looks very nice. And the tail itself, even though it was earlier, I kind of wish it was a little longer than this, but let's see how that be. So that's about it for the sculpted paint and for the articulation. If you played ball once, you played ball with all of them. There goes my heater. The jaw can move like that. Ball joint here at the head, which can go up, down, side, side. What's funny is that there's actually like a hidden dorsal plate back here, so when you move it down, you can kind of seal the gap. Doesn't look all that great, but it does kind of like sink into the body, which I feel like is a really cool engineering technique. And of course, a ball joint here for the neck, which you can go full 360 with. Shoulders, ball joints, you can go out, in, and do the right way. Rotate all the way around, a little stiff, oddly enough, even after all these years later. My goodness. Hinges for the elbows, as well as a swivel for the elbows. The ball joints here for the wrists. No, hold on, there we go. Ball joints for the wrists, side, side, and hinged fingers. Yeah, they're still very stiff. I think this one is a little looser. There we go. So you can kind of clench fist, move out. That was awesome. So we can go down, up, like this, side to side, and go all the way around, which is actually more movement than the 54 suit probably has. It looks so funny just seeing him glide like this. Reminds me of like a character from like a movie or something like that. What am I thinking of right now? They can actually like do something like that. Anyway, so yeah, like I may mention, the spines do kind of like rub against each other. So while you don't have to worry about the sculpt itself chipping away, the paint itself will. So do keep that in mind. The hips, you can go, I think, just about forward and back, 360, just about. I'm not sure. The swivel hinges for the knees are here. Swivel as well. Ball jointed feet, so you can get a little pivot. It's 360. And of course, let's fix that in a segment. 1, 2, 3, 4 ball jointed segments, and a bendable wire inside the tail, which I would like to iterate that my copy, there we go, unfortunately has a broken wire inside, about right here, because if I twist like this, I can kind of feel it like having a little bit of resistance, because this feels pretty much like solid, and this also feels solid, so there is obviously like a break-in piece right there. And I'm kind of worried that if I like twist it too far, then it'll just like poke right out of the rubber, and I'm gonna have to fish out like another $70 to $80 just to get a freaking replacement for this thing. So yeah. Also, as for accessories, the original release, which is the one I own, does not come with anything, but it should be worth noting that a very certain 2019-2020 big $20 elephant in the room does, and that is because the original reissue of this guy, actually, with like the poster box style packaging of the 54 film, whatever, does come with an effect part. It's actually just the same thing that comes with the 62 Godzilla, and you could poke it in like this. Only problem is because mine is the original, mine doesn't have the sculpted in peg hole to accommodate the beam effect. So this, if I clench the teeth hard enough, maybe it'll stick. Okay, so I guess it kind of works. So that's kind of what it will look like, just with a lot more tightened up sculpted paint. So yeah, that's what it would come with. Just the original one does not come with anything. So with that said, that is going to be day 11 for the Advent Calendar. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. How sentimental that we finally get to review the very first one for the Advent Calendar, huh? The one that I got on December 25th, 2015. All those years ago. Nearly 10 years ago. As of this year. But we're almost to the 10th year anniversary of the Godzilla collection, even though that's not an anniversary necessarily celebrate, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're back doing with day 11. So last day we did the NECA 54. Well, today we're going to be doing another figure, whichever figure that might be. A little bit of lag, but that's okay. Looks like we're doing another Funko Pop. Alright, the 2-pack Godzilla and Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. Nice choice. Let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and this is going to be the day 12 for sorry, the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. So today with us we have the 2-pack special edition between Godzilla and Kong in Funko Pop form. And do we really have to take a look at this thing again? I just reviewed him. Whatever, I'm going to primarily be focusing on Godzilla here because just noticed that. It's a box. Anyway, yeah. I'm going to be primarily focusing on Godzilla here just because I haven't taken a proper look at him in this Advent Calendar in particular, but hey. Anyway, so yes, this is the 2-pack BAM exclusive, although mine just says special edition. Don't know what that's about. Probably just an import from another country, if I had to guess. Question mark, anyway. So this is going to be the 2-pack, obviously with Godzilla and Kong, the battle-ready Kong and the base form Godzilla. And I like it when companies actually take two characters and they package them together, aside from just one figure. I know, you know, I feel like they'd make more money had they do it. Anyway, so let's just take them out of the box because I do like to keep them in the box. Just because I'm not like an in-box collector, but when it comes to stuff like Funko Pops and U2s, I do tend to do that a little bit more. So consider this like unboxing 2 on the channel in regards to these guys. Come on. Oh, shoot. Heard something. There you go. So let's get the box out of the way. Wow, that's loud. So there's Godzilla and Kong. There's the tray. So, to recap Kong, because this is the same one we just took a look at not even a few days ago. Beard has a nice dry brush there. That's just my hater, don't worry. Pretty mellow sculpt, decently applied details at the torso section. Orange eyes. So painted teeth with the pink gums, and with a pretty much battle ready pose, scarring detail as well as here, and for articulation can swivel at the head, and monkey booty. And also, just for some brief looks, there you go. That is essentially that Kong. You don't need to look at him. The real star of the show, yes, you heard me, the real star of the show is Godzilla here, which is a very nice mold. I will admit that personally, when it comes to the sculpt and details, Godzilla got the better treatment of the two, with the individually, well, kind of individually sculpted. They're on like the same piece of vinyl here, but they're individually sculpted, like separate from each other, so I guess so. Painted teeth, they're done really well. Nice little blackened eyes. They look very cute and adorable. Nice little side profile of Goji here. Nice little jaw, of course. Like the little details. This thing is just so cute and little cuddly. I love it. Nice color and dry brush throughout like the whole body. I love this like brown green they gave him. Very nice and reptilian. This really looks like a reptilianized Godzilla, which I just love. The black here looks very nice. And of course, here we have like the kind of like more brick looking, like almost like a brick wall in terms of scaling on the legs, which if that's accurate or not, I don't really care because it's a freaking Funko Pop. Like, when would you care about accuracy when it comes to Funko Pop? I also do like the fact that the claws are painted like a black, which are really nice and solid. Like, I just like the way it's painted and sculpted. The dorsal plates here, They're really nice and small, but of course little beady things. Not too much to write home, although they do get a bit of like nice wash with it as well, and it kind of goes all the way down, like tapers all the way down. And of course we have the tail here, which is going to have like a blue underside with the green overside, and I do like it. It looks very crocodilian, which that's a good or bad thing for Godzilla. It's all subjective. I personally don't mind it. You have this like green to blue transition, which I feel like could have been tightened up a little bit better, but c'est la vie. And of course for the like this paint here, it's very almost like almost feels like they actually like took like a paintbrush and they went. You get what I'm talking about. Artists, my fellow artists, you understand that. Anyways, yeah. Aside from the defined gills, there's really not any articulation on it. The head, arms, legs, or tail. It is just a little tiny chibi Godzilla statue that you get for the price of one if you bought it with the Kong, which, just for a little bit of like a size reference, they're about the same height. Godzilla's body is obviously a lot bigger than Kong's because like it's a humanoid body versus a very chunky lizard body. Also, Godzilla just is a lot heavier, so there is that to look forward to. But yeah, that is about it for the Godzilla and Kong 2-pack. There's really not a lot to go over, considering the fact that we've already taken a look at one figure, and the other figure is something that is also sold separately. So you have options if you want to buy them individually, or if you want them together and get the authentic Godzilla and Kong experience. You can do that. But with that said, that's about it for day 12. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, because we're going to be continuing this till the end of the month. And yeah, we're just going to have fun. So peace out, everyone. Stay tuned for the next day. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 13. If it wasn't obvious enough. So we're going to be doing another spin the wheel thing here. So let's just go ahead and see which one we get. Last time we did the Funko Pop 2-pack between Godzilla and Kong from, well, Godzilla vs. Kong. It looks like we're getting a MonsterArts. Which one is it going to be? The MonsterArts 2019 from King of the Monsters. That's a very cool choice. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 13, which is going to be the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2019 from Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yes, my personal favorite modern Godzilla movie, I should clarify. Not my favorite of all time, personally, but we'll get to that in a later video. Anyway, so for this figure, this is the first time that this particular sculpt was used, and will later be reused like a bajillion different times, but this is the original vanilla release. So for the actual sculpting paint, this is a modified sculpt from the files made by Yuji Sakai, with of course reference from the material at hand. We have tiny little beady eyes and so painted teeth. The real paint, or at least the real killer paint, comes in when we look at the tongue and the membranes and the gums. Like, that actually looks really nice, and all the red in there. Of course, we have the ball peg. It's almost looking like the throat hole. So here we have like the sculpt itself. Looks really nice like throughout, all the spines and the ridges. You do kind of get like a bit of like mild variations of like color with like the wash. So that is a little iffy. So things like here, you do get like a bit of dry brush. For the sides of the body, more or less like the same thing, called like the scaled texture and detail. And then here for the shoulders, like the more squared off looking scales, and then the extra painted claws here. Those look nice. Then you have the actual like stomach with the multiple pack, I guess. I don't even know what that is, like a 6, 8, 12 pack, maybe just skipping over 10. Here we have all like the nice sculpted details here for the leg. Very sharp, very rigid. And of course here we have the claw paint here. Nice little like details. Kind of wish it was a bit more vibrant than that. Copyright info here and near her there. And of course, here we have all the dorsal plate action, which look very nice. I kind of wish it was a bit more washed like the NECA version had, but it still does have a very nice presence overall that you can just see. And of course, they're very spiky, not blunt at all. Like, this is actually very pointy. And of course, here we have the long, ill-fated tail, which all the spikes here are individually sculpted. Have like a mild dirty wash every here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same consistent charcoal gray. For articulation, let's take a look at the jaw. The tongue is on a ball joint, so you can kind of open up, it's closed, side, side. Tongue can actually rotate in there, but don't have anything small enough on a person actually to do that. Head can go up, down, left and right, and can swivel a little bit, but mostly it's going to be confined to just kind of like basic movement. With here like neck and here at the nape, although the nape joint doesn't really do much, the neck does have a little bit of a wobble to it. Shoulders has a little bit of like a back and forth, little outside side. Ball joints here, or sorry, the hinge for the elbows, so you can have like that swivel. There we go. The swivel hinges for the wrists, so you can kind of go like side side. Ball joints here. Sorry, ball joints here for the out crunch, so you can go down and up. So you have two joints here and there. Ball joints here for the hips, which can go out and in, forward and back, all the good stuff. Hinges for the knees, and as well as a little mild rotation. Calf joint, shin joint, and ankle joint, which are ball joints by the way, which can go side, side, swivel. And of course, starting from here, which is actually a free-floating piece, you'll have a mixture of ball joints and free-floating pieces throughout the entirety of the tail, which go about up to right here, where this entire segment is entirely one piece. There you go, just like that. Anyways, that is going to have to about do it for the figure itself, because the next thing is actually an accessory, which is actually two pieces. We have the signature jaw piece, which has like a alternate jaw and of course an atomic burst effect, which is supposed to take out the original figure's jaw, probably in a more uniform fashion than what I'm doing. Oh crap, that just went flying. I'm just worried that one day I'm gonna like completely drop that and it goes missing. So yeah, effectively you're just supposed to shove it in there. And then of course here we have the actual beam effect, which has like a mild spray on one side, and the rest is kind of like the same baby blue. But it's also reused from the MonsterArts 2014 Spitfire. You can tell because of the peg hole. Then you're supposed to just insert it like that, and boom, your Godzilla is shooting the beam. Now he's supposed to be looking like reared up, but sometimes I can get him to do it, other times I can't. Just see if I can actually do it right here on camera. Yeah, this is not working. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it today. I mean, you can kind of do it. You can kind of do it here. So depending on how you have it posed, it's mainly going to be that neck that's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting. Although I don't suggest doing it for long periods of time, just because this is made of a softer plastic. It could bend and warp over time, so there is that. Anyways, putting the figure back to normal, that is about it. I do hope you enjoyed this advent calendar episode, because well, yeah, we're just going to be bringing this back and just full force. So see you guys next time for day 14. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 14. So we're 2 weeks into this sucker, so we might as well go ahead and spin the wheel, see which one we get. I forgot to turn on the volume this time, damn it. But I mean, the volume isn't necessarily needed for this, but let's see which one we get. The Monsterverse Ferocious Kong. Alright, let's do it. Very classic indeed. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today for day 14, we have the Ferocious Kong Skull Island figure from Playmates Toys. Now, for a little bit of context, this isn't the newer version. If you guys don't know, there's actually two versions of this particular figure. There's the original, which is this one, and there is the new modified one for the 2024-2025 relaunch of the MonsterArts line. This is, of course, the original, and that's the one we're going to be taking a look at today. So, this is obviously based on the 2017 film Kong Skull Island, which is the prequel to Godzilla 2014. So if you haven't seen the film, I actually do recommend it. It is a very highly entertaining film, and I almost wish that the whole MonsterVerse just continued like that. Not with Kong specifically, but also Godzilla in the serious tone, you know. Anyway, so for the actual, we'll just go over the accessories of which, because there's actually a bit to talk about. There's the helicopter and the boat propeller. So for the helicopter, it's literally just a piece of flexible green plastic that is molded in the shape of a helicopter. Not too much to write home about there. Doesn't spin. Nothing really to say. Has a big tube, so there you go. Anyway, so you can't actually let Kong hold it. However, it is a bit finicky as to like how he can grip it. Because while he does hold the helicopters, the first thing he does with them is like smash them down. So here we go. Here's Kong holding the helicopter. And you can throw it away if you really want to. Or you could have this thing on some sort of stand and have it like flying. However, the real accessory is going to be this chain propeller made from the remnants of a boat. Which this is going to be right here. You're just going to literally slide this in. Just like that. And yeah, literally just like that. It is a little bit of a loose grip, but if you hold it like down here, you can get it to like tighten a little bit. So almost like a leash to a dog. That'd be kind of funny. And yeah, that is about it in the way of accessories. So as for the actual figures concerned, trying to take this thing out. There you go. This is going to be a mixture of a remold of the 6-inch and the 11-inch giant classic Kong, which was the first Kong Skull Island figure they had made. But for the head, we actually have some orange eyes with some okayly painted black pupils. You know, they're doing the job. They're doing all right. Particularly a gray color scheme for the face and kind of like a grayish brown here for the whole body. Kind of would have liked it if it was a little bit more colorized. But here for the gums, we actually do have some nice gum paint with tongue and teeth. Surprisingly, some nice detail inside the mouth as well. You can kind of tell it is the 11-inch head just because of the way that the head looks in particular. We have some sprays of the abs right here, as well as 3 slashes going down that are painted. And of course, like this whole section is painted with being like the torso area. Shoulders here are very broad and they look really nice. Oddly enough, they look more, obviously, of course, this is Teen Kong compared to the adult 2021 Kong, but it looks a little bit more buffed, I have to say. Actually, that's probably wrong. But here also a bonus feature is that it comes with a piece of skin that you can put up, like right here. The red as well, like all the muscles, and you can even see the hinge, so it actually does a good job of like covering the hinge joint. So, good thing is detail is actually fairly consistent. So there's that there. The palms here of which are going to be sprayed on, so that it's looking nice. More fur detail here and here. Clenched fist, supposed to be open fist. Backside, not too much going on the way of the back. More or less the same, kind of brownish gray. The feet here. I did not notice that. Saying of yellow. I do not know where that came from. Maybe just yellow mold? There's a bunch of it. I'm gonna have to see what that's from. I didn't even do anything with this thing. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, it's all meant to be covered in the yellow, so the white, which is supposed to look like mud because it did have like a bit of a white accent in the movie, but Come on. This is clearly not mud. But, yeah, so that I'm going to have to attend to. But everything else here does look very nice. And for the articulation, we have a ball joint here at the head. Sorry to swivel at the head. My apologies. Is it a ball joint? I don't think it is. Because there would have been more clearance if it was. Swivel hinges for the shoulders. So you can kind of go all the way around just like that. Swivel hinges for the elbows. Swivel all the way around like that. Bend in and out. Swivels for the wrists. Nothing at the waist, but we do have some hinges for the thighs. Go round and round. Hinges for the knees. And of course swivels for the feet. So why they gave this guy swivels for the feet, but none of the other Kongs, I have no clue. But anyways, that is going to have to about do it for this episode of the Advent Calendar. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for day 15, as we're going to be doing this a lot more often. Because I do have some more stuff to catch up on, just because I had been a little away. So, there you go. Anyways, see you guys next time, trying to get everything all together before I end off the video. And screw it, it's a helicopter. Peace, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 15. We're about at the halfway mark, more or less close to. And we're going to be spinning the wheel to see which figure we get next. Made sure to turn on the volume this time, so... The Running Press Godzilla 2014. What a throwback. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. Well, 2025, whatever. My name is Matthew, and today we're reviewing the tiniest little twerp in the collection. Not the tiniest, but certainly the weirdest. The Running Press Lights and Sounds Godzilla 2014. So, essentially what this figure is, it was part of a little kit, for lack of a better term. Running Press, several years ago, released, alongside the 2014 movie, a little box set that featured this little guy and a little sticker book. So as for the sticker book, I don't have it anymore. And to be honest, I haven't had it for a long time. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know what happened to it. Probably got lost one day. Because when it came to my non-figure stuff, I did unfortunately have a lot to kind of keep track of. But when it came to this figure in specific, somehow it survived. But effectively for the little sticker book, I do have like old videos of it, but effectively it would have been like this tiny little sticker book with like Godzilla 2014 on it, and all these like different posters, renders, and like shots from the movie, and effectively it was just a bunch of that. I don't remember what I did with the stickers like at all, like if I put them like on a page or on a booklet, I don't know. But I kind of regret doing that because they would be really valuable. Anyway, so as for the figure, this figure itself is going to be made of a hard plastic with soft plastic used in things like the arms and the dorsal plates and, of course, the tail. So let's talk about the head. The head is itty-bitty, lemon squeezy. We have the tiny little pupils, which are going to be painted orange. And, of course, the whole figure is going to be painted or molded in a kind of like a blue, dark black, bluish color. The stomach from the chin neck area to where the crotch meets the tail is going to have like a bit of like a dry brush to it. So it looks fine. Arms themselves, though, they really lack in the detail, which is weird because soft plastic parts usually have more detail than the hard plastic parts do. So that looks a little Dorsal plates, they look pretty simplistic. Very mountain range-esque. Here we have the little bolt, which actually you can kind of like turn the arm this way, just to kind of go over, because I don't really think it's worth mentioning again, the arms actually go full 360, and that is basically all the articulation you get on this thing. Nothing in the legs, nothing in the arm, nothing in the tail. I know the tail has a seam, but we'll talk about that in just a sec. Screws there, has a little bit of rust. This screw in particular has been damaged to heaven, hell, and back. Ironically, because Godzilla also did the same thing. Here we have like some mild details on the legs, which do look okay. And then we have the feet, which do look very nice, individually toed right there. And then, although I guess the toe here is kind of like missing, I don't know, it almost looks like he just has 3 toes here and then 4 toes there, because there, that toe is more visible than it is here. Interesting. And as for this part, which is going to be made of a more flexible plastic, that's actually because it comes disattached out of the tail. So disattached out of the box like this, and you just simply put it on. As for things like gimmicks and whatnot, it said lights and sounds. Originally, you could actually press the dorsal plate around, there's like a little, like around here, and then you press down, and then you see that little light bulb in there? Let's actually see if I can get a good look at that. See if my, oh wow, you kind of can. That would glow up blue. Just now realizing how little is in the Godzilla's head. So effectively, yeah, that would have lit up blue, and you would have done a very distorted Godzilla 2014. But over the years, the battery in there, I guess, just died, and I'm kind of too scared to open that because battery acid could very well just it doesn't exist anymore. So God knows what's in there anyway. So with that said, that's all I have for this episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed, because I honestly kind of enjoy this little thing. It's not one of my favorites personally, but it's very fun and nostalgic to look back on. And I'm just really happy that this thing at least still exists within the collection after who knows how long, taking like such a big beating. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 16. So previously we did the Godzilla running press figure, and now we're going to be doing whatever it decides next. So let's see. Another Jada Toys keychain. Kong. Nice, we previously did Godzilla Vault. Makes sense. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today is the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025, day 16. Which, for this one, we're going to be doing the Metalfigs Kong keychain from Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. So, just like the Godzilla Evolved, I do keep these in the box now. Just because, like, of, I know this is going to sound weird, but storage reasons. You might say, oh, well, these things are literally, like, the size of a few coins. How is it, like, a storage problem? Well, to that I say, I don't want these things constantly, like, hanging around all the time. No pun intended. And, there you go. So, let's move these two pieces out of the way. And here's the Kong. So, off the bat, you can already tell that it's... Well, damn. Sorry about that brief intermission, folks, even though you guys didn't really see anything. But I knocked over my damn tea, which I forgot to put on the left side, not the right side, because I am right-handed. Yeah, anyway, so for the Kong here, the Kong here is not going to be the Beast Club variant, funny enough. So unless you pay attention to the 3 scars, you just would think that this is your average gorilla. So, yay. But here for the eyes, they're black with yellow pupils, or irises, sorry, which is accurate to the film. I don't necessarily agree with that color scheme, that more or less with the movie. But for the teeth here, I will say that the top teeth are kind of missing like the sharp canines, while the bottom ones aren't really, because they do have them. But they are so painted. You know, they have the basic strips and the red paint, of course. The actual skin tone is like a bit of a dark. I don't even know like what type of color it is, like a dark gray kind of to brown. It's like that on the ears and the fists, and of course the chest and the feet. But the whole head here is made of like a soft plastic, versus the rest of the body, which is going to be made of a die cast, as you can see here. So there's that. The arms here are going to be made of a soft plastic here, so that looks cool. And of course he's like in a very angry expression. And of course here we have the copyright trademark Jada Toys, Toho, and Legendary. Oddly enough, Toho. I get it, Godzilla's in the movie, but is this really Toho's creature? Interesting. Anyways, yeah, monkey booty and everything. Just more or less giving you looks. Here's the scarring. It actually has a bit more scar detail than what should be on the figure, because it has it right there, and then more there, even though he only has 3 slashes in the film. That's interesting. But yeah, aside from that, there's really not much else to commentate, because, I mean, I could talk about this ring. Like, ooh, do you see those individual chains? Those are really cool. Look at the way they twist and turn. Look at that ring. I know I sound so unimpressed, but it's a basic King Kong keychain. You have a tiny little chibi Kong and a key ring thing. Like, what else could you really ask for it? It's also got a lot of weight. So, with that said, you know, that's really about it. All I have to say about this thing. I do like it. It's not my personal favorite. I definitely do think Shimo is my personal favorite of the set, but I've already mentioned that in, like, a separate video from, like, over a year ago, I think, at this point, but it's whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for day 17. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today, you're gonna have to forgive the excuse the fact that there's no intro to this part. I was an idiot, and I accidentally deleted the clip where I, like, spin the wheel, and it just so happened to be the Evolved Godzilla Battle Roar figure from Playmates, which is what we're taking a look at today. But essentially I was trying to delete some stuff, like some files that were cluttering out my phone space, and also just some access videos that I did for YouTube Short and TikTok, and then lo and behold, one of them was accidentally the clip, which I thought was an older clip, but it turns out it was the actual one that I needed for this video, so do forgive that. Anyway, so for this episode, like I just made mention, we're going to be taking a look at the Playmates Battle Roar Godzilla Evolved from Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, which historically, if you are a longtime viewer of the channel, you would know that I do not like, or didn't like, the previous outing that they did with their Battle Roar Godzilla. I thought that thing was practically a steaming pile of hot crap, just molded in the image of Godzilla. I could literally go out and collect a bunch of dog feces, mix it, and shape it into the mold of Godzilla. You'd basically get that. But as for this guy, I will admit personally that this thing is actually a step up in the right direction, and I actually do somewhat like this figure. This being the Evolved Godzilla means he's going to have skinnier proportions and a different color scheme compared to his predecessor, but let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. So for the face itself is going to be molded in a soft plastic with actually some very nice detailing with a very well painted pupil, or I guess eyeball in general. The teeth themselves still a little iffy because, like, it doesn't really look that cohesive. I get it, it's from mass production, but if you actually open up the mouth, you'll actually see that we have 2 different color gradients of pink and red in there, which is actually a first for Playmates, I think. For the chest here, we actually have a mild spray of, like, the wash that we see throughout the other figures of Godzilla Evolved. Mainly it's on the shoulders here, or the arms. But for the chest itself, it's just going to be a mild spray. I kind of would have maybe liked a little bit more, but I feel like just a little bit cat fur. I do have fur, so sorry, I do have cats who shed a lot of fur, so you're going to have to forgive that. Anyway, I think that would have been the right balance, but I'm not like overly complaining. We have like these little screw hole cover-ups, which I don't know why they'd featured that on here, but not other figures. We have the little speakers, and of course another screw hole. This side, which is so detailed, most of this is going to be like the hard plastics, except for like the limbs. Here we have some actually fairly accurate shoulder, elbow spikes, so those look pretty cool. The sides here, they look nice, especially the glitter-infused plastic. The legs actually do look very nice here and look very wonderfully detailed. I do like the way that the legs look here, and they are in the pre-posed position. Of course, we have the olive spray in the inner part of the leg, and then we have the feet, which are actually not sprayed, so it almost looks like he's wearing long johns, if I'm being honest. But he also has, what you'd say, like painted claws here, so those look nice. And we also are not complete without talking about the dorsal plates, which these things actually look very nice. Unlike the predecessors, these actually go all the way to from the top of the head and all the way down to where they meet the spines, and actually do look very nice. They're gummy plastic, so they're actually also packing a lot of detail, so that's something I have to appreciate Playmates for. As for the tail, this was one of the things I didn't like about the original, was that it was so big and so chunky, it just looked very disproportionate. Here, I feel like they nailed it. It does look a little still on the shorter side, but that's only because of like the awkward positioning here, because they have it going down and then they have it looping up, but then they have it like doing this weird S thing, and from certain angles it just looks a little off. But from here to here is going to be primarily the red, up until you get the Thaagmeisers, which are actually very well painted. And then of course the underside, which you have more like the olive spray, which is a little bit more thicker than it is on the rest of the figure, so there is that. But for articulation, we actually have a hinged jaw, although it is spring-loaded because of the mechanism inside. 360s here for the shoulders. Well, I guess most close to 360s. I don't know, you can swivel out the shoulders like that. Swivels here for the hips, so you can go forward about that far for this leg, back about that far. So that's about it. And you can also go 360 with this foot. We can go like that for this leg. Up about that far, down about that far. 360 at this foot. And of course a ball joint here for this part of the tail, and nothing really else here, although it is made of a very flexible plastic. So also you might have noticed that when I pressed down on it, it didn't make any roaring noise. That is because out of the box, my batteries, or I guess something with the speakers, had some sort of problem. I don't know if it was on the shelf too long and the battery started like decaying. When I opened it, there wasn't any battery decay or any battery acid like flowing in, unlike my original one. But yeah, because like essentially you get two sounds. You get the main roar, which is like that, and then you get like the Spitfire noise that he does since 2014. But anyways, that is gonna have to about do it for this figure. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. Just because I didn't like the original Battle Roar does not mean I don't like this figure, because I think this is actually one of my favorites. If it wasn't for that big guy, I'm confident to say this one would probably be my favorite, followed by the Giant and then the 6-inch basic. I'd actually say those two are tied, the last two, but this guy is really close. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see us in the next day. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we are doing day 18, which unlike day 17, I'm not going to be a moron and accidentally delete this, hopefully. So we're just going to go right ahead. So let's get the volume. There we go. Let's see which one we get. Another Playmates, interesting. The Playmates Star King with Whipslash. We're getting a lot of GXK figures this go around. Makes sense with how much figures I got. But anyways, let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 18. We're taking a look at the Playmates basic series, Scar King with Whip Slash. Yes, Whip Slash, not Whip Lash, not just Whip, it's Whip Slash. I know, creative name. Anyway, so this is a part of the basic 6-inch line from Playmates Toys as a part of their Monsterverse Collective, formerly the Godzilla Kong New Empire line, formerly the Monsterverse Collective, formerly the Godzilla vs. Kong line. I know, there's a lot of formalies with this line anyway, because it's like every year this damn line changes identity. Watch as it goes from Supernova back to Monsterverse, assuming Playmates still wants to keep the license and not dragging out these figures. Anyway, so with that said, this is going to be the very first release of Scar King that Playmates has done in 6-inch figure form. And as a result, may have some inaccuracies. Not that the figure was ever accurate to begin with. First, let's start with the head. The head is going to be featuring blue eyes, which are somewhat accurate. It was mainly the pupils that had like a bluish tint to them, with some black pupils as the eyes themselves. The war paint here we have for like his red tribal-esque culture paint, I guess. War paint is on the front to like the cheeks to the forehead, and of course that's going to be throughout the entire front. The nostrils are actually sculpted in fairly decently, and the teeth as well. Like, there's actually a difference in between the teeth color and like the basic white color. You can see that the teeth are a little bit brighter. At least he's been taking care of himself, at least hygienically. The ears there are having like the same white spray everything else has, so that looks nice. We'll actually take this thing off and talk about it later. But just to actually take a look at the chest here, we have a few sprays of white here and there, where the base color is going to be that red, kind of looks like a McDonald's thing. We do have some nice little abs. They look actually pretty nice here, and we have some like fur detail that goes throughout, especially here at the very broad back. Actually very nice here. We surprisingly not missing too much fur, which is weird because I guess One Eye is older than Scar King, because otherwise he wouldn't be missing that much fur. Anyways, yeah, so all the fur here is very well sculpted. I kind of wish there was more paint back here, but c'est la vie. The arms here are going to feature the basic red-orange coloring with the coloring of the whites here. And of course, you actually get some red striped paint, which I kind of don't like because they do look a little cheap. I get it, it's a $10 toy, but the fists here, they look alright. Pretty much clenched fists, you know the drill. This one's slightly open, as we'll talk about later. Though it is worth noting that the white does kind of like go down to his crotch region. But aside from the legs here, which are going to primarily be the same fur details, you know, they've seen throughout, you do get a bit of the white here for the feet, which are primarily going to be at the toes. So essentially, wherever there's skin, there's going to be like the white, which kind of makes you wonder what he'd look like entirely without fur. That'd be a very hard sight to see. Anyway, so that's about it for the actual sculpt and paint. As far as articulation's concerned, we actually have a swivel here for the head, so nothing too crazy there. Swivel hinges for the shoulders. Swivel hinge, which we can go up about that far, down about that far. Just to reiterate, hinge can go up, down, and all the way around. Swivel hinge for the elbows, so you can go in and out, as well as swivel. Swivels here for the wrist. Although in my copy, the elbows are a little bit loose. Actually, no, it's the shoulder that's loose. A little bit, so yeah. Swivel hinges for the legs, so you can kick up, go back, and can rotate in place. Hinge for the knees, and that's about it. My idiot self also forgot to mention, balls right here at the, right here. It's a bit squeaky, but what's actually kind of fun is that if you take it off, you'll actually notice that there's two little in-bridges right here and here, and that'll allow you to get some additional side movement with the Scar King figure, so pretty damn sweet. As shown and mentioned earlier, you do get an accessory with it, which is going to be the Whip Slash, which is very outdated, doesn't have the crystal and it also is held the wrong way, so it was obviously based on like early models, but effectively it's just this little thing made of a warbat skeleton, or I guess the spine and the jaw, which is effectively its skeleton. So anyway, so there's two ways you can go about doing this. Number one, take this peg, take this hand, and you can actually press it in, and Scar King will be whipping and nay. Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay. Anyway, so that's going to be part one. Part two is the one that you personally would want if you're going to be putting this guy in a basic pose. And that is to have the the whip/go round Scar King like a sash. Effectively, you want it like about here. And then maybe a little bit higher just to get it like all flush. It is kind of tricky to do. Like even after a year and a half, nearly 2 years of owning this figure, I still kind of have a bit of difficulties. But effectively, that is how you get it on. It's once you know how to properly do it, that is basically the extent of it. Anyways, that's about it for this episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for day 19 as we're going to be coming back, and hopefully next episode it's a Toho figure, not a Monsterverse figure. I swear I'm not selecting these myself. You see the footage. That's really about it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for day 19. Well, actually 2025, but today's day 19. My name is Matthew, and today, it's day 19. I used to say in that order, but I guess I fudged it up. Anyway, so today we're going to be spinning the wheel once again to see which figure we get. Please be another Toho one, because I'm kind of getting a little tired of these damn Monsterverse ones. Watch as it's it's another Monsterverse. Why not? Ironically enough, it was actually the first figure I got this year, so I guess it counts. So let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another day of the Godzilla Advent Calendar series for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we have the next one in line, day 19. And none other than the monogram Godzilla Kong the New Empire Kong Beast Glove clip. So if you don't know what this is, effectively it's a backpack clip that you attach onto your backpack. Yay. Listen, I'm out of school, so I didn't really have a purpose to clip this on, so take that for what you will. But essentially, these are sold in blind bags, which you guys know I don't like blind bags. I prefer when you're actually able to see the item, because that's how you end up with 4 Mothra minifigures. Don't you, Bandai? Anyway, yeah, I'm still not over it. But for the actual clip, obviously based on the 2024 Kong design, I'll be with some different design changes. Much like the Funko Pop, they decided to give Kong flat-out orange eyes with white eyeballs. Pretty good sculpted teeth. Oddly enough, it's actually still missing the metal tooth, which I wonder if the metal tooth was like added very late in terms of production, because I think only the Haya and the MonsterArts, which is actually just a repaint of the basic head, only feature the silver tooth. So I do wonder if like the silver tooth was added last minute. Anyway, so yeah, the teeth are going to be pretty much painted basically with the pink gums. And that, oddly enough, the same colors used for the scar in here, which are actually different in terms of like sculpt work, which is actually very surprising. The base color though is going to be like a dark brown with the additional skin patches being like a bit of like a brown grayish. So you have them at the ears, of course. For the face itself, nose, that's good. Torso looks nice. Feet and hands look nice as well. Fur details, they're actually fairly basic. Kind of looks more like a Sasquatch, to be honest, but let's say that be. For the actual Beast Club, though, which is actually kind of cool, you get all like these little divots of like, you have red, and then you have white, you have like little divots of black, then you have like the little gears there. You have the little hinge. I guess it almost reminds me of like another clip that I have of another Kong, not this Kong, but Donkey Kong. You guys remember that one TikTok I uploaded a little while ago? I showed the figure, or the keychain, it looked fine, and then I looked at it like from the front, and it just looked completely doofy. Yeah, I probably should upload that to shorts if I haven't already. Maybe I have anyway. For the feet, again, they look pretty basic. 4-toed feet. Actually, I think that's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's technically a fifth, question mark. But as you can also see, we got a big, nice backpack clip. Now, something I learned the hard way is that, especially if it's attached like this, these don't last. And trust me, I've had my fair share of clips that didn't last, like my Mario one. To be fair, that was a knockoff, but who knows if this is any better. Anyways, yes, big backpack clip with a QR code, sorry, a barcode. I'm assuming like maybe this is for the stores that like actually do open these and sell them individually so they can scan it. But yeah, that is basically about it. There's not much else to it. Copyright info and all. But yeah, soft little vinyl rubber thing. Actually kind of squeeze it down. Anyways, that's about it. I like pairing this thing with my chibi Godzilla ceramic little keychain. But that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in day 20. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the 2025 Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 20. We're going to spin the wheel and see which figure we get. Preferably Toho. Something like Toho. It's a lot of lag even though I keep doing this. Huh, the Bandai King Caesar. Alright, not a bad choice, very classic. And it's Toho, so let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 20, which we are, for this year, or sorry, this day, we're doing this classic, nostalgic piece of 2000/2010s. Hold on, wait, when were you made, my friend? 2010s nostalgia, which is going to be the King Caesar from Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla, specifically the Showa era version. The Final Wars version was a lot more doofy version looking than this one anyway. This is going to be part of the, I guess the, technically so to speak, the most recent wave, which was the last wave of Bandai America figures before they transitioned over to whatever they're doing now, which is very crummy. Anywho, so this guy is going to be cast in a vinyl. For the face, it actually has a very nice black wash. It's very thickened, but you can really tell that there's like some serious detail washed with this guy. The red eyes here are very nice. Very cool indeed. The nose looks really well sculpted, big schnoz. And of course here we have the mouth details of the teeth. Crown looks pretty cool with the blue jewel up there. And of course 6 little swirls of hair. Of course we actually have the the ears, which are very floppy, because in the movie they do kind of like express themselves. Here for like the entire nape area, we actually have like a whole section of fur, which actually has a very nice like dry brush, which this is really good quality for a small vinyl figure like this. Like, I'm very impressed. Very nice brown wash with like the yellowish kind of like coloring, the more scales on the skin itself, with of course the orange fur being, sorry, the orange highlights here on the yellow fur, more segmenting. And then we have more like the dust. I think this is the highlights. The claws, which make a return. 3 clawed. I love it. Here it goes. Well, here for like in the midsection, we actually have some more scales and such. Just kind of like show with the black here. Looks very nicely highlighted. One complaint I do have is like the imbalance here, because we have this side which is like thick and black. This one not too much. Almost looks very like segmented with this part of the body. This part of the body, I mean, but not really this side. But you do get a lot of the nice black here. Same with the sides of the body here, and then here it almost looks naked. So better censor that. Not really, but you do have the kneecaps. And then the 3-toed feet, those look pretty cool too. And then the little fur tufts right here and there, as you can see. And of course we have the little itty bitty tail with like the butt hair, I guess. Something I've noticed is that the tail is actually a different color to the rest of the body, which is interesting. Also, it has like the texture of potatoes. You know what the skin of potatoes look like? That's kind of what they look like here. The little black lines and a very poofy looking tail. It almost looks like a poodle's. Almost actually looks like Charizard's tail, just colored differently with like the flame. Anyway, for articulation, you can actually get this swivel at the ears, which you're able to go like this and make them flop upward. That is an amazing feature. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but if it's able to spin like that, surely it would have been. So for the biceps, we can go backwards about this far, forwards about this far, same as you can see. For the waist, yes, you heard me, waist. You can hear that nice snap. Go back all the way around. Just kind of showcase there. Shoulders, or sorry, the legs go forward and back. As you can see there. Nothing at the knees or feet, but we do have a nice swivel here at the tail, which is able to go full 360. So for articulation, I'd say it's actually pretty nice. Like, you get a very nice amount of rotations with this thing. But anyways, that's going to about cover it for King Caesar here. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew and this is day 21. We're almost done. Well, at least the main portion of it, because after that we saw the bonus days you get. Anyway, so today we're going to spin the wheel and see which figure we get next. Previously we did the King Caesar. Looks like we're getting another Toho. And it's the MMS Godzilla ride figure. Alright, let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and today we're back with another episode. Today we have day 21. 9 plus 10, right? Anyway, so for this day, we're doing another Toho figure. Today, we're doing a bootleg of the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla The Ride. So, for a little bit of context, this guy was, there was a Godzilla ride in Japan. I'm not even sure if it's still in operation. Probably not, given the fact that its sequel is now coming out soon. So, with that being said, the actual mold here is very good. For the face here, we have little tiny white dots, which are all right, but individually painted teeth with the pink in the mouth. It's not painted all the way, but that's okay. The detail work here for the body, though, we have all the ridges going down the head, then for the neck as well. The sides here look very nice. Got some of the green wash throughout the entire figure, which looks very nice. Here we have the arms here, which have like the bony plate ridges and everything. The arm here, the arm spike, sorry, looks very, very chaotic and very awesome, if I do say so myself. 4-fingered claws. The thumb almost looks like it should be a part of like a hand, and then it's just missing a thumb, but that is indeed the thumb. For the chest here, we have all like the dirty details here, all the folds and wrinkles in the skin. It's very organic. For the spines here, see all the green here, greenery. Nice dorsal plates here. They look really nice. Just kind of flipping it over here, so you can see. Something I've noticed that you can also see like the black, because that is the base color. It's just kind of like mixed in with the green. For the thighs here, they look pretty snazzy, with the green wash in there as well. All the bony ridges making a return. And then, of course, here we have the pink claws, which I said were similar to my bootleg Shins. It turns out these are actually a little bit lighter, so take that for what you will. There you go. Just kind of like go over everything else here. So this look like the tail here looks really nice. And also very long too. Like this is actually a pretty long tail, all things considered. But of course here we have all like the little ridges for the tail, little segments. And pretty much speaking, that is about it as far as the looks go. For articulation, we have nothing here at the head, but we do have a little rotation here for the arm here. So you can spin that around. And of course for the legs, you can go actually full 360s. I completely forgot about this. Because I remember it being only like limited to a certain pose. And then tail 360. This is actually where you attach it out of the box. It's understandable because it's kind of hard to bag something up like this. But anyways, that is gonna about do it for this episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. See you guys for day 22. Who knows what figure we're gonna get, unless you're from the future. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew and this is day 22. So, we're going to spin the wheel, see which one we get. There we go. Make sure to turn the volume on this time. Another Playmates. The Giant Kong and Beast Club. That's an interesting one. Alright, let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and today we have a big boy because we have the Giant Kong with Beast Glove from Playmates. This is the 11-inch variety and right as of now is actually the largest Kong figure in my collection, but I hope to one day get the giant version or the Titan size version of him to go along with this Godzilla. So that way I can have a fully rounded off, well, I guess 2-part collection. Yay. Anyway, so for the actual sculpt, this is actually what I meant by the sculpt of the 6-inch figure being really well executed because it transitions well to an 11-inch figure and doesn't really hide any subtle details. Here for things like the actual fur, it's done very well and I do like the way that it looks here. For the actual face paint, however, it is a little heavy-handed with things like the fur, like the beard being painted the gray. But aside from that, the skin tone does look very nice. And we do have the eyes, which are correctly painted this time because it's a much larger figure. And the gums do look a little bit mushy. Like they almost look like clay, but I guess to be expected. The teeth here are individually painted, well, sculpted, kind of, but they do look a lot better. However, you can kind of see that there's some chips because it is an out-of-box figure. I imagine some kid probably got a little too heavy with this when they was trying this out in the store. Anyways, for the scarring here, looks pretty decent. Nothing going on with that. We do have some nice packs which are sprayed on. Do look really nice here. And of course, we have like a bit of overspray here and there. Oh, there goes the fist. Let's actually straighten that down a little bit just so I don't accidentally hit anything else. There you go. It's a little bit of spray is where it would be. Here for the back, all these screw holes. Again, I grew up with toys with screw holes, so I don't mind them personally. I got used to them over time. In fact, I kind of find it weird when toys don't have screw holes. Can you imagine that? But yes, features more or less the same brown. Looks really nice. Has that same fur detail, which the 6-inch figure does have. Actually doesn't have the scars, which is very interesting that they keep it for the 6-inch, but not the the 11-inch. Have some nice feet detail work, which looks really good. And does have some pretty nice painted toes, which are going to be the standard gray. Of course, hollowed out feet, just because, like, I imagine just for proper weight distribution, although you think they'd make it, like, solid. But for the Beast Glove, which they advertise it like it's a separate accessory. I don't know why Playmates keeps doing that, but we have the little joint here, and then we have the gear. And then in the inside, they actually painted it this go around, which is awesome. And of course, we have like the little segments of where it would be like attached. It looks very mechanical, very industrial. And then we had like the straps themselves, which look really nice. A little bit of Axis paint on the yellow, which looks fine. Well, not really fine, but you get it. But aside from that, that is basically about it. For articulation, we actually do have a bit of an upgrade here. For the head, the original was 6-inch version was on a swivel, and you might think, oh, it's on a swivel too. Nope. It's actually on a full-fledged ball joint, which I was very surprised by. So you got a little bit side to side, and gets a little bit up and down too. For this, we actually go up, and we can go down. Go 360. And for this beast glove arm, which we can bend, nothing else. No wrist articulation because everything would be locked in by the beast glove. For this, we can go up and down and 360. Here for we can go bend in, bend out, just like that. And we can also swivel here for the wrist, at least as much as I can until it stops. For the legs here, which we can go swivel hinge, back and forth like that, and hinge for the knees, nothing at the feet. So, for the actual Beast Glove Kong giant size version, this thing's really good. I think personally he's my favorite Kong figure from Playmates. But I guess opinions be subjective here, because I didn't like the way that sounded. That almost sounded like I broke something. I'm trying to actually kind of check for cracks. Well, hopefully I didn't break anything. But anyways, that's going to about have to do it for this Kong figure. If you do like this video, leave a like and subscribe. And see you guys for day 23. We're getting close to Christmas. Peace, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 23. Let's pick out a figure, see which one we get this to go around. Make sure to remember to turn on the volume. The Blacklight Mothra, what a good choice. No, like that's actually a really good choice. Let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're taking a look at a little bit of a nostalgic piece in my collection. I say nostalgic because it was from the pandemic era. This is from the Mothra Blacklight Pop from Godzilla King of the Monsters, and to my knowledge, the only King of the Monsters Funko Pop that they've ever released. So, it's interesting because this was our first introduction to Mothra in the Funko line, and they chose the King of the Monsters design, but didn't do a regular form. I don't know. They're doing like a lot of like weird repaints. I guess new, not even really repaints. They're just newer versions of kaiju that we've known about for years. Like they're doing a Destroyer, but they haven't done a regular colorway of Destroyer. They've done Space Godzilla, and then there's like these sleeping Funko Pops. I don't know. Funko's just really weird with the Godzilla license. That's why I kind of stopped collecting them. Because, like, I'm happy with the ones that I currently have. Oh, I forgot how loud that was. Ooh, click. Click, clack down the track. Is there any others? Oh, it's one down here. I think that's the first time I've opened these since I got here. Well, whatever. This is the Blacklight Mothra. Wow, it feels weird to touch the thing again. Anyway, so for the actual details, it's an entirely new mold. For the face, it actually does have a very nice sculpt, like little itty-bitty teeth, and of course the little mandibles beside. little tiny antennas here. And the blue eyes make a return here. So it's entirely all in orange, just to make it look like it can glow in black lights, which I used to have a black light, but I don't have it anymore. But I mean, I have videos of it, so if you want to go back and check those out, you can. Anyways, for the actual body, you have like a little bit of fuzzy texturing. Those look really cool. And have the little limbs, which you have two main ones and the two smaller ones, two back ones, which is accurate to the design. I really do like the way that the Mothra Pop looks. It's actually quite tall, like all like from the base to the top here, the wings. Speaking of the wings, you actually do get a very nice amount of detail with it, like as far as the color goes, because you get orange, blue, and yellow in all like uniform spots, which is really cool. I kind of wish there's maybe some more like up here and some other spots of it, but aside from that, this is actually like really well crafted. Something I've also noticed that the base here, you can't actually take this base off. It's perma stuck to the figure and just acts like a normal guard of sorts. Essentially, it's not all that levitating, but it's kind of levitating there, as you can still see. But just to give you guys a better look at the base here, we have copyright, legendary, trademark, copyright Toho, Funko.com. I don't think this is available. This is supposed to be an entertainment exclusive, but I don't think it's available anymore aside from the secondhand market. So also what's fun is that there's the little stinger, which actually took me a little while to realize after buying her. So there's that. But aside from some different shots, like some back shots, don't think of it that way, perverts. The side shot here, and this front side here as well, here and here. I think that this is a really cool Funko Pop. Like overall, I like it. It's really fun. That said, I do have the Godzilla that goes with it, ironically from the other movie. I don't have Burning Godzilla, but right as of now, he's not on my radar anymore, so who knows if I'll end up getting him. Anyways, that's about having to do for this lovely little gal. I just hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for day 24, Christmas Eve. We're almost there. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing day 24. Christmas Eve is here, friends. Anyway, let's go ahead and see which figure we get. Hopefully it's a Toho one. Another Funko Pop. Alright, not a bad choice. Let's do it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla 2025 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're taking a look at a Funko Pop that is pretty interesting because, to my knowledge, this is the only Spitfire Funko Pop of the original Godzilla mold. And this is the classic Godzilla glow-in-the-dark exclusive. I think this was exclusive to Entertainment Earth, if I remember correctly. But regardless of where it was exclusive to, this dude is going to be a very highly sought after piece, I'll say that, because it does go for a bit on eBay. But that said, this is basically the exact same mold as the original Funko Pop, which for the face, let's actually kind of like open up a little bit. It has a very puffy head. Of course, ironically, it actually looks more like a mushroom cloud than the actual Godzilla does. For the eyes, they're pure blue. Has a nice kind of like glowing effect. Kind of wish it was like that in the nostrils. But for the actual scales, we actually do get a lot of them. They're kind of like almost like ovals, just with very pointed tips. For the actual mouth, the details here make a return, and they're pretty nice. And also, it's just entirely blue on the inside with paint that matches over. So essentially, the whole thing is technically, so to speak, translucent, at least as much as it can be. For the actual arms here, mine are a little scuffed up. I got a little bit of like paint there. I don't know what happened. It was used. It was obviously donated to the store where I got this from. Actually, my dad got this for me, so shout out Dad. But of course, the fingernails are going to be painted the blue. And oddly enough, the fingernails are blue, but not the nostrils. Interesting logic, Funko. I don't know, it's Funko. They tend to do whatever they want. They're doing Skibbity Toilet for crying out loud. Anyway, so for the actual like claws here, we do have a lot of like nice detail here. We have like this little like piece of Axis plastic there. Probably the plastic just didn't settle correctly. The dorsal plates here are really cool because you can see all the detail work all throughout. Like the main fins here, they look actually really nice, and they are kind of not overly flexible, but they do have a little bit of give. It's like very mild, although you can kind of see in some parts the blue starting to yellow. So maybe in a few years this thing is going to be entirely a piss Godzilla, not a blue Godzilla. Legs look pretty good as well. Got the four-toed feet. And of course the very chunky looking legs. Maybe just a little chunky Zilla. And then of course for the tail, kind of loops around like this. And they kind of carry it like this, which is very cool. Not too much else to comment on because you have the flat side, which has the copyright and trademark Toho. Oddly enough, Warner Brothers. And Funko right there, so you can have the tail swoop up. And it looks pretty snazzy. And nothing for articulation, nothing at the head, because the spines do kind of like lock everything into place. Nothing at the arms here. And nothing at the legs nor tail. And I would show the glowing feature, but like I've already shown it before, and this is just kind of like a mild little review. So anyways, that's gonna have to about do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for day 25, which is gonna be Christmas. Peace out, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome to day 25 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew, and we're here, Christmas Day. Well, the day that this is being recorded is not Christmas Day. The day that this goes live and the day you'll be seeing this is Christmas Day. So, what better way to celebrate it than to continue the Advent Calendar with whatever figure we get, and we're not missing the volume this time. The Playmates Godzilla Heat Ray 2024 edition. Alright, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today for day 25, we're doing the one and only, well, I guess technically one of multiple, Heat Ray Godzilla from Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. This is specifically the 2024 release, not to be confused with its 2020 variant, which is actually before Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't know. It was a whole other thing back in 2020. You should have been there to see all the toys in the shelf. Anyway, so yes, this is from the 2024 film, and essentially it is an amalgamation figure. So we're gonna go ahead and just take a look at the base figure here. For basic sculpt and paint, a lot of it hasn't really changed from its 2020 predecessor. For the eyes, they're the simple kind of like half circle variants. I don't typically hold this guy, so he's a bit dusty. Also, I do have cats, so there's a lot of fur out here. So half circles here for the eyes. Pretty much basic. Here we have the teeth, which are basic white strips. I know, basic. With the tongue that's also sculpted and painted, surprisingly. Not very apparent, but it is kind of a pink in there. And for the head here, it's going to be a soft plastic, which is very well done in my personal opinion. I do like how detailed it is. There's not any paint that's like anywhere to be found on the rest of the head. But what is here is going to be the main chest area, which is going to be, well, the battle damage piece is going to be a soft plastic, with everything else here being a hard plastic with pretty mild paint. You got the sculpted details. You got the scales, which are pretty okayly done. Here for the sides here, and of course the arms, which are going to be of a softer plastic, so they have a bit more tightened up detail. But mine's got a little bit of blue. I wonder if that's like just overspray from the back. Probably. The arm here, which we actually have the claws, which are going to be pretty well painted, like actually like applied well. Of course, the paint itself is very, very simplified for mass production, but that's to be expected. Dorsal plates back here. Mine's got a bit of a chip from transportation stuff, but that's okay. We also got like a bunch more of trying to get rid of the fuzz. A lot of spray, which actually came from, I believe, the radio tower Godzilla, but it's all black, not gray on the base, so I guess it's not, but it is. I don't know. It's complicated. But of course, it has the King of the Monsters post-style fins that you see in King of the Monsters versus Kong, the start of the New Empire, and Monarch Legacy of Monsters. For the legs here, we actually have new leg sculpt, which is a welcome addition. This one's a bit more back bent than this one, but it's still in like a neutral walking position with new feet sculpt, which looks pretty good. Well, new as in like for the time, you know. I don't exactly know if 1 year old is like new still, but who knows. A little bit of copyright info, a little bit of hollowed out feet this go around, which is very interesting. And of course for the tail, new tail sculpt, which here we have like smoothed out detail compared to new eccentric detail. I wish the whole figure was like this, like really compacted detail with very nice kind of like sprayed on paint, although it doesn't really go on the way, so. But it's in a nice position, a little swayed up and then kind of to the side, so you get a fair amount. For the posability, we got a jaw hinge. Open up that pie hole. Probably could stuff like 300 pies in that mouth if we're using human scale. Rotations at the arms, which we can go full 360, which I did not actually know. I thought it kind of stopped at a point. I guess it did. Or maybe I did know and I'm just being an idiot. Back and forth here at the legs and go back and the forth. 360 at the foot. You know it. You love it. Back and forth here at this foot. Or the leg, sorry. And ball joint here for the tail, which is packaged separately. So for the battle damage piece, because I know some of y'all are wondering about that, it actually has new paint. From its original, it was a lot more of a duller red. This is a lot more glossy and a lot more filled in. So it doesn't sadly have any more paint beyond the red. So you can't really get like any bone colorization like the old Jurassic Park toys did. But you can still see Godzilla's rib cage like that, so have it patched on like that. What do you want, kitty? That's just my cat. And a new flame blast, which initially I thought was the Mezco beam, just modified. Nope, it's an entirely new sculpt. It looks like it's actually mirrored. See that? That's really cool, though. I love the color choice here. Though, personally, I will admit, this is probably my favorite Atomic Breath effect. It's not just about the right size for me. It's not too long, but at the same time, it's not overly short either, unlike the others. Which is funny, because watches like, people go, oh, well, it's about the same size. It gives the illusion that it's about the right size, okay? But for me, this is about it for this Heat Ray Godzilla. I do so hope you guys enjoyed. The bonus days are going to be coming a little later, because unfortunately, I do have to head out soon. Because by the time you're watching this, I'm not even at my setup, so videos will be a little bit more sporadic than per usual, but we're still going to do all 6 bonus days. They're going to be as planned, and we're going to get them done by the end of the month, so be on the lookout for that. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. Merry Christmas to you all.